Hi guys, DevilHunterXYZ, and this is a movie review on Ender's Game. And when I saw this movie, I was really kind of impressed. I thought it was going to be some kind of lame ripoff of the book or something like that, but it actually really surprised me. I remember reading the book back in high school for my English class, and I always kept thinking to myself, man, this would have been great if this was a movie. And unfortunately, there wasn't any at the time. But after all these years, I'm just kind of impressed to see what that book came out to be for this movie. So let's take a closer look at this. All right, for the summary, more or less, it does follow the book, and unfortunately, it's been years since I really read it, so it's kind of really hard for me to do a true comparison. I just barely remember bits and pieces of it. But I guess in a nutshell, it's mainly about a kid, Ender, who apparently gets accepted to this training program to fight against some kind of invasion in a from like a alien civilization or whatever. Anyway, he kind of goes through these like training programs, and he goes through battle school, goes through command school, and then the people in charge of this program, they just see Ender as like their only hope really to stop the invasion because they see him as a person that's kind of destined to put an end to this war. And throughout the time, he just goes through he goes through this like training simulations, like battle strategies and whatnot. And then kind of near the end, when he's in command school, he actually goes through simulations against the civilization. Uh, and then, for the most part, it just plays out like a game. And then near the end, when his graduation day, they reveal to him that all these simulations that he has done were actual battles, and that he actually taken human lives. And then, it just really got to him in the end. He just feels guilty, remorse that he's wiped out an entire civilization. And it wasn't until near the end that you actually get a good look at what these life forms are. And he does find like he does find one of the life forms, and he decides to take it with him, go through space, and then eventually kind of repopulate the colony. That's kind of the quickest way to explain this movie. To get more for detail, you really have to actually read the book. All right, for the pros, well, I can say this movie does follow the book in terms of context. I can't remember much of the book, unfortunately, but I think for the most part they did capture all the key scenes, from the book. Um, like it's all there. It pretty much tells the same story, and I'm glad they didn't, differentiate, like go off the path way too hard. Like just goes straight and takes a hard left for some weird reason. It's pretty much the book in the movie. So, and I guess another thing is the CGI, which I really do like. It's pretty impressive to see the battles, the war. It almost kind of feels like a video game, really. And I guess there's actually some scenes that actually do kind of incorporate that. And I'm glad they didn't overuse CGI. There are some movies that they just completely overuse it. If you're given a choice of using something that's physical on the screen and having to make something on the computer to show it, you can tell what's CGI. And it really depends on the situation as well. If you like on like a normal setting, you should pretty much just stick with actual physical things. But in a movie like this, where you're out in space and having like these like futuristic combat wars, yeah, CGI would be the most appropriate thing. Well, for the cons, there are a few things. One being Ender himself. For most of the movie, it just kind of feels like a kid saying lines in a school play. He just doesn't really put much effort into what he's actually acting. It just kind of feels a little stiff. It doesn't really improve to near the end when he actually shows some actual emotion. Uh, Another thing is, well, you're trying to incorporate. a book that's about maybe, I don't know, I'll say about 10 hours of reading into like a 2 hour movie. Obviously, they can't incorporate every little thing. So that's why the movie to me kind of feels rushed compared to the book. So you don't really have the time to appreciate every little detail out there. And I guess also, speaking of comparing a book to the movie, I mean, it was a cool thing seeing the movie based on the book, and I actually do enjoy it. But would this movie ever live up as well as the book? Probably not. And the reason for it is the book. I mean, it's your subjective feelings to it. It use your interpretation, your imagination of what you think the characters and the setting should be. I mean, comparing that to a movie where it's right there. I mean, you just have to accept what's on screen. I mean, probably given the choice, most people will go with the book. In conclusion, I can say this movie is pretty unique. I mean, I really enjoyed it. It was pretty impressive. I mean, it has that sci-fi quality like you see in Star Wars or in Terminator, and at the same time, it does have that serious factor, of war and kind of saving the world. And there are actually some moments where it has a little bit of comedic relief. I mean, for the most part, it kind of feels like a war movie for kids. I mean, it does have that military aspect to it. Um, I mean, is it going to live up as good as the book? Probably not, but I say it's probably a good compliment to the book. Maybe to give some kind of visualization of how the how the book lays out. Uh, but I mean, for the most part, it's still an enjoyable movie, and for that, I would give this movie a 8.5 out of 10. I mean, I believe it's actually one of those movies that's like, actually pretty great. Maybe not one of the best of the year, but I think it's pretty good out there. This is DevilHunterXYZ, and until next time.